It's LA's 97.1 Amp Radio. It's McCabe in the SoCal Honda Sound Stage, and today joined by Macklemore. How are you?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Congratulations on GEMINI. It is out. There it is.
Got the CD.
Got the CD ready to go.
Damn.
This is an amazing album, like all the way through.
Thank you.
I feel like you had a lot of fun when you were making this record.
I did. There was very little depression that went into making that album.
And
if any at all.
If any at all. You can't feel that on the album. What kind of energy are you drawing from? Is it just going in and you already had some beats laid out, or you're just working with friends? Or
Yeah, I primarily worked with the same two producers the entire record. So I had a team, and the intention was to make a song. We started in November, and to make a song a day in November. And not even to be like, we're making an album, or like this is an EP or anything like that, but just to get into the space of creating with a lack of attachment. Let's get in there. Whatever comes, comes. We don't need to worry about if it's good or bad. Let's just make it, and then the rest will follow.
And it's got like such a good, I mean, you have hip hop on there, you have like funk, I feel a little bit of rock, you got ballads. I mean, it's just, it's from the beginning to end, it's one of those albums you can put in and just listen to.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great piece of work for you. And when you did this, also looking back, I mean, you put on social media that when you and Ryan Lewis had just parted ways on fine terms, but you guys were like together pretty much every day for 9 years.
Right.
So then when you do go into the studio and get to work as well, is that, I mean, do you miss him at times, like when you're working with it so close at times, and then to kind of do it on your own?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that there's many moments where Ryan comes up, and yeah, like you said, Ryan and I worked together for almost a decade. So there was fear going into it a little bit of me just like, yo, how do I do this without Ryan? Like, this has been, me and him this whole time. And eventually, you just start making songs. And yeah, there's definite moments, I love Ryan. I love working with Ryan. So there's definitely moments where, you miss your friend. But I think overall, this was a really fun, creative process for me. And it's, to be completely honest, like Ryan and I are two alpha creative people. And to be able to be kind of the sole person that calls the shots and not have to compromise on everything.
Right.
In a lot of ways it's easier. In a lot of ways it's harder too, because, it's good. Ryan has great perspective and a great vantage point on where a song needs to go. He's a fantastic producer. So there's pros and cons, but I think that, I'm really happy with how the album turned out, and I just loved the process of making it in general.
This is your first solo album in 12 years. A lot has changed in 12 years. Grammy winner, you have a daughter. Is there a lot of influence from like your personal life into this record?
Yeah, I think that there's always going to be influence of, my personal life. I don't know how to separate the two. I can't, turn off my family life, which, in my case was upstairs, one flight of stairs, in the studio. I can't separate those. I'm always going to give myself into an album. I'm always going to, be honest and convey what's going on in my life in the form of music. And when you play certain songs for your family members, your daughter, I mean, was she all about it? Was there certain ones she's like, I love this one, Dad, or I don't know about this one, Dad? Yeah, she doesn't quite have that many words yet. She's like, I don't know, Dad. This isn't that fire.
Sure yet.
But she hit me with the nope a couple times. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Do you take her advice when that happens, or just tweak it a little?
It hurts. That's when I get defensive, and I'm like, you're only 2. You don't even know what you're talking about yet. I've heard before you have to do the baby test. And to watch a child resonate, like she loves Marmalade with Lil Yachty, like that's her cut. She'll listen to that all day long.
Okay.
So it's good to see, just watch how different songs and frequencies and textures resonate with, and melodies resonate with a child. It's cool to watch that and be like, oh, she hates this. Okay, back to the drawing board.
Well, I'm glad she's a fan of Lil Yachty on Marmalade. And, I mean, you do have a lot of great artists you're working with on the record. Skylar Grey, Offset from Migos, and some even, like, newer artists, on there as well. Were there just certain people you had in mind when going into this album as well? Or was it, as the process was going, you're like, I would love to work with this person? Or
Yeah, that's kind of how it always goes, is in the moment. You know, I never go into it like we need to get these 5 people. Like, to me, that's a little more contrived. I want to be in a place where I'm like, man, I could hear Offset on this. Or, you know, I got Travis Thompson and Dave B on Corner Store. Like, those are 2 rappers from Seattle, up and coming dudes. I'm like, they would kill this beat. You know, that's how I like to collab with people, is I can hear this person on it, not just like let's force this collaboration for the sake of the name.
And also with Corner Store, like at the end of that, you have the Serenity Prayer in there. Was that something you had in mind for that record, or was that, again, just off the cuff, I want this in there?
Good question. No one's talked about that. I haven't seen anyone say anything about that.
Really?
Yeah. You know, this song is reminiscent about the Corner Store for me, which has played a big part in my life and a big part in my addiction as well. And I felt like if I was going to make a song, not glorifying the Corner Store, but, you know, talking about it, that I wanted to have that balance. I wanted that juxtaposition of, at the very end, you get this little nugget of the Serenity Prayer, like, this is where I'm at now.
Well, that's what I really respect about you as an artist. And I mean, this album, there's so many, I think, fans that can relate, you know, to the music, and with Corner Store and with Intentions. I mean, kind of like, you know, fighting this, what you want to do and what you end up doing type of thing, you know?
Right.
And let's get to Good Old Days with Kesha. How did you team up with this record, with Kesha on this one?
She was working in Seattle with Ryan. They were finishing up Praying. And he, from the jump, when he first met her, he was like, yo, you got to work with her. She's awesome. You guys will really get along. And ended up getting her number from somebody and hit her up, and she started sending me voice memos, like, from the jump. I, like, hadn't even met her. We hadn't even talked on the phone. She's just like, what do you think of this idea? What do you think of this idea? So immediately she just had that comfortability as an artist where, like, she felt comfortable sending voice memos. Like, I would never do that to, like, anybody but, like, my close, small circle of people.
Right.
So she was really comfortable with herself. And, you know, when she came in the studio, it was the same thing. You know, she just went for it, really open to feedback. You know, there's certain artists that come in and have their ego and, you know, they don't want to hear what you have to say. But it's the ones that are, like, wanting to collaborate in a space of, like, yo, let's make this the best record possible. Like, leave the egos at the door. Just be here and open to whatever comes up and whatever feedback. Like, that's how you get better. You know, if I have nothing but people in the room telling me, like, yes, great job, you're awesome, I'm not going to get better.
Right.
So Kesha was really open, and, you know, we had a great time making the song, and, you know, she's a close friend of mine now, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, the chemistry, I mean, even in the video is very, I think you were just talking about nostalgic, you know, kind of the video you were going with. So yeah, it works great together, and I think, can we expect that on stage at We Can Survive, the Macklemore and Kesha coming together?
I would love that. I have a feeling Kesha's on tour.
No, she's playing the show.
Then
she's going to be there. She
I
is
will
going
talk
to be there.
to Kesha.
So please talk to Kesha and make that happen. October 21st, We Can Survive at the Hollywood Bowl. Thank you for being a part of it. What can we expect for now, for you being back on tour? Because this is going to be kind of in the, I guess, first couple of weeks of your tour.
Yeah.
Be playing our show, but what can we expect from you on stage?
I like to leave people with an experience. You know, I have such a diverse range of music. I like to take kind of the emotional roller coaster, you know, from, like, fun to turn up to, you know, heavier. So I like to make people cry, make people laugh, make people dance. I like to leave people with a show that they're never going to forget, and that they walk out of feeling like not just that they had a good time, but closer to me as a human. You know, I like to tell stories. I like to interact with the crowd. That's what it's all about to me. It's not just like, let me just go through my list of songs, but how do I perform my songs in a new, authentic way each night?
Well, we look forward to it at the Hollywood Bowl, October 21st. You're on tour this October, starting your tour. GEMINI is the album. Macklemore, back in it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for stopping by 97.1 Amp Radio. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
97.1 Amp Radio.